Hello, I'm just going to wait for other people to join and then I'll get started. So today we'll be talking about your mindset and awareness in regarding to your fitness goals, social settings, and your surroundings and your habits as well. So I'll just wait for a few other people to hop on and then I'll get started. I've actually written notes for once, so I won't be like shooting out of nowhere. But yes, alrighty. So like I said, we're going to be talking about awareness, and I think awareness definitely gets really overlooked in the whole like fitness community and journey when it comes to, you know, changing up your lifestyle and everything. So basically the foundation of awareness is like, it is the definition of the word is just, you know, being aware of what you are doing and making conscious decisions, because at the end of the day, we never do anything like, we do things subconsciously kind of, but everything always takes effort to start off with, and it takes some level of awareness to build that effort and build that action and momentum towards something. So basically you can't change what you don't know needs changing. So if you are currently in a position where, you know, your work lifestyle balance is off, or, you know, you're not happy with how you're living your life, or how, you know, you're not happy with how your fitness is going, or you want to make some improvements within your lifestyle in general, whatever realm that falls into, before you even make that change, you need to build your awareness around that action and the actions that you are doing towards the goal that you want to like reach. So if you find that, you know, you want to change your job, and you kind of look at it and be like, okay, where in my job am I not happy? Like, where do I feel like I'm not getting fulfilled? And you bring more awareness before you go and apply for other jobs, so you know where you kind of need to fill in the gaps and when you're not, you know, getting that, I guess, value from your work. So when you apply it to like your fitness, it's kind of like, if you want to make a change, you need to be aware of the habits that are like potentially holding you back, and the things that you might need to integrate more into your lifestyle. So that could be slowing down and like really analyzing like your eating habits and seeing where you might be mindlessly snacking, and also why, and why do you feel like, you know, you get into a mindset where you kind of just disregard all your kind of values or your goals, and you just go, oh well, F it, I'm just going to, you know, go in, just go ham at this like party and just do what I want, even though you might have a specific fitness goal that you're working towards and you have been working towards quite consciously, but then this moment where you maybe were surrounded by, you know, peer pressure and other people in your environment was changed, and you weren't quite aware that in a different environment your reactions are going to be different, that you then kind of spiral, and that kind of sends you down this alleyway of kind of, you know, maybe overindulging and kind of throwing you off your path of your goals. So that's one way to kind of like, in a short summary, kind of give you the gist of what we're talking about today. So like I said, you know, to make change, you need to be aware of what needs changing first. And so there's different types of awareness. So there's like emotional awareness, so how you're feeling about a situation, how you feel towards something. So if you want to work out and you're currently not doing anything, what is stopping you? Like, you kind of need to slow yourself down and think, okay, well, when I go to work out, I feel like this. Or, you know, when I think about going to the gym, I feel like this. And you can kind of put an emotion and reaction to, like, you know, the purpose of why you aren't following through with the thing that you want to do. Then there's also, you know, the awareness of your surroundings. So, you know, the people who are like impressioned on you on a day-to-day life, the people that you're interacting with, you know, is that a positive or a negative influence on your life? Are they bringing you up? Are they bringing you down? Creating an awareness around the people who you live with, who you surround yourself with, who you communicate with, is also a big factor to consider as well. And these, like I said, this can be, you can flow this into other areas of your life, but mainly we're talking about health and fitness, of course. And then you've got emotional. So kind of ties back to how I was talking about before, like, you know, how you feel towards something when you do an action and your reaction towards something as well. So how, you know, you make like a food choice. Is it an emotional choice or is it a kind of reaction choice? So there's different things in there as well. And also around others. So levels of empathy and stuff like that as well. So how can you break down your awareness and apply this? So the best way to put it towards is, like I said before, like the gym or, you know, a food circumstance. So, you know, if you think about a time where you've like overindulged, or you think of a time where you constantly just didn't make it to the gym, and you kind of reflecting on like, why did I end up here? Why did I make those choices? And really breaking it down. And this is something I do with my clients, and you got to break it down into how you feel at every stage. So think about the situation that's happened and break it down. Okay, how did I feel an hour, 30 minutes before? So was I feeling anxious? Was I feeling angry? Was I feeling happy? And then how was I feeling, you know, during? Was I feeling, you know, before, like, well, just immediately before the whatever happens, like you decided you weren't going to go to the gym? How were you feeling? Were you feeling, you know, tired? Or if it was a food situation, were you feeling stressed? Were you feeling overwhelmed? Were you feeling like peer pressured? And like, what was going on? Who was around you? And then break it down even more. And then how were you feeling in the actual moment? So were you present? Like, were you acknowledging what you were doing? Were you making a choice? Which at the end of the day, everything we do, nothing is like, oh my God, what's the word? I've avoided saying the word because I keep on spontaneous, really. You know, everything you have an action, you've made a choice. Everything we do, we make some level of a choice and a conscious decision. And sometimes we just choose to ignore things. And that's, like I said, when we need to bring a bit more awareness to the situation. Then after, you know, the event, or, you know, you've slept through your alarm, you decide not to go to the gym. How did you feel after? Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel guilty? Who was around you? Where were you? And, you know, break that down even more, because that's bringing awareness to your surroundings. It's building awareness to your emotions, and you can kind of pull things in to kind of isolate and break down the barriers of how you are currently feeling. And then from there, you know, then again after that, so once you've kind of removed yourself from the situation, again reflect and think, build the awareness from how you feel about that situation now. So that is kind of like a very lengthy breakdown of how to build your awareness and isolate it to a situation. But if you think you can't change, or you can't, you know, create a new routine or a new skill, or you can't get to a goal, you know, you've got to build awareness of why. And it's, you know, you can't reach your goal unless you know the path to your goal as well. And then that leads into things like neuroplasticity, which is basically your brain creating new pathways, and as you create new habits and, you know, new routines and stuff. So it's kind of, if you think about it, if you've always been walking down the same forest track, like every day, you keep walking down that same track, the grass gets worn. So it becomes a more easier path to follow. And you keep going and you keep going. And then so to break the cycle, you need to go off the track to build a different one. And that's kind of what the neuroplasticity kind of works. And it's showing that the brain can create new, like, pathways in your brain to new habits and new routines. So even when you say to yourself, like, I could never be a person who does that, first of all, that's a fixed mindset. So you can always be that person. You're just choosing not to be. And so you always can make that pathway to that person or that lifestyle or that habit that you want to be. You just need to form that new track. You just got to keep wearing down that grass to make that track a bit clearer, and then the old track will overgrow and you won't fall down that path anymore. Obviously you definitely can. Nothing is ever set in stone, but that's kind of creating the link between building awareness and then making the transition to isolating once you're aware of the issue and the things that you need to change to get to the results that you desire, then believing that your brain actually can change those pathways and it can actually make a new routine and a new habit as well, which, you know, is reassuring to know that, you know, you can make changes, and, you know, the more you kind of believe in yourself to implement those healthy habits and those healthy routines and stuff, you will, at the end of the day, get there. You just have to keep going around and, you know, not think that everything is done subconsciously and that everything takes action. Like, you always have to show up for yourself. You always have to make a decision. You always have to make that choice. Sometimes it's not a choice that you necessarily feel like you want to make, but you know it goes with your values and it's going to get you to the goal and the result that you want. So in regarding to a lot of people at the moment coming out of like lockdown and stuff, they've been in a new routine. They might fall into them. It might feel like a slightly, you know, unique and, you know, not the most sustainable routine, and so they want to form a new one. So building awareness around the current habits that you aren't giving you value, what aren't supporting you, what isn't, you know, supporting you to be the person that you wanted to become and get to the goal that you want. They're the things that you then have to break down and change. And, you know, you don't have to change everything at once, and you don't have to change anything at all if you don't want to. If you're currently happy with how everything's going, like I said, you don't have to put this towards like a health and fitness situation. You can apply this to work or any kind of like situation you want. But breaking it down and then isolating the things, become aware of the habits that you need to change, maybe the routines that you need to change, put, you know, your value towards it and like why you want to do that. And then as you kind of going and making those changes, you know, still building your awareness and being aware of your actions, because at the end of the day, how you act and where you put effort in is where you'll, you know, get results and stuff like that as well. And, you know, as well as your reaction to something as well. So being aware of how you react to certain situations can definitely impact, I guess, your journey and how, you know, fast you get to your goal or your destination, and how fast you kind of, you know, keep going in the path that you want to, because the way you react to a situation, you know, is sometimes usually emotional. It's sometimes like an instinct, and, you know, sometimes we don't feel like we have control over our reactions. But being aware of like your control in the situation, that you can build that awareness, you can build those new habits. You just have to take time and slow down and, you know, be conscious of your choices and why you're making those choices, why you choose to, you know, eat like a certain way to like benefit your goals, or the reason why you choose to move your body in a certain way, which makes you feel good and empowered and, you know, strong. And, you know, knowing that your body will support those changes with building its new pathways. I'm not going to explain the neuroplasticity again. You can go back if you need. But yeah, so that's basically the breakdown of awareness. So to give you a bit of like a summary, you can't change what you don't know needs changing. You need to slow down and become a bit more present, and isolate the areas that might need changing, improvements, and, you know, maybe things that just aren't valuable to you anymore, or you don't identify with anymore, which is completely okay. And that could fall into the categories of, you know, how you emotionally feel about something, people who are surrounding you, how you're reacting to other people's like circumstances as well. And then also, you know, really breaking it down to, you know, when you're talking about an isolated situation, how you feel, you know, before this, how did you feel before the event, like right before the event, so 30 minutes before the event, right before the event, during the event, after the event, 30 minutes after the event. And it's kind of really breaking it down. Who were you with, when, what were you feeling, what were you doing, and to really just build that awareness around like the habit. And it's something that you can do through like a journaling process. You can do it through your coach, and you can just do it yourself. And then the fourth tip, I think I said 4, I don't think I was counting them at all, but we're going to say 4, is the neuroplasticity, knowing that you can create those new pathways in your brain to kind of, as long as you keep going around, you kind of slowly edge off the forest track that old pathway will overgrow, and you won't go down that, hopefully, and you'll create a new path that obviously aligns a lot more with your values and your goals. But yeah, that's a very quick summary and breakdown. If you do have any questions in regarding to creating awareness and stuff in regarding to your lifestyle, your behaviors and your habits, feel free to chuck them in the comments below, or this video will be saved as an IGTV, and you can always pop them in the comments and tag me, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. But yeah, I hope that brought a bit more awareness to your lifestyle and maybe some possible areas that you could maybe want to change and stuff like that. But I will see you in a month's time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for listening.